Boston. I think that's Toronto. Toronto's got the best chance of knocking off a LeBron James that has never been quite this vulnerable in the last 7 years headed into the playoffs.
Yeah, but here's the thing, at least for the Eastern Conference playoffs, the Cavs are never vulnerable because they have LeBron James, meaning in every series they play, they will have the best player on the floor in the postseason. Who your top 2 or 3 guys are matters more than it does in the regular season. Here's the question about the Celtics. Will there be a series in this postseason where they have the best player? Because, yeah, they're the 1 seed, the Bulls are the 8. Jimmy Butler's the best player in that series. Isaiah Thomas, probably the best player for the Celtics, is 5'9". Can you trust the 5'9" guy to carry you offensively in the postseason? The Celtics will have a level of vulnerability in every game they play.
Well, there is an X factor in the Pacers now. You know, I'm telling you, not so fast, LeBron. They got Lance Stevenson. He's back.
Yes,
That's right. He's back, buddy. And I'm telling you, he got a few new tricks on you, buddy.
A few new tricks?
That's right. That's right.
I'd be happy if he broke out some of the old tricks. Wouldn't you be happy if he did that again?
He's going to be on his worst behavior, too, because that's the only way we're going to notice he's in the game.
Oh, my God. Did you have pepperoni for lunch?
Who do you think Knicks fans are rooting for in today's meeting, Phil or Melo?
Yeah, Phil and Melo are having a meeting. Normally the way they meet is they talk individually to reporters and then the word gets back to the other. And I guess now they get to compare notes on everything that's happened. Carmelo Anthony, by the way, has said it's really kind of tough for him to trust Phil at this point. If you're a Knicks fan, who do you root for? I guess the only choice you have is to root for Phil because he's the one who's more likely to be there longer. But if you think the solution to this is we're just going to trade Melo, who wants to trade for Melo, and what in the world would you give back?
Well, part of the problem here with everything about how they've handled the Melo situation is they look like they're trying to push him out in ways that are public and embarrassing. And the latest twist to this is that right before this meeting, it's announced, hey, Phil's here contractually for good. We have extended his next 2 years. He's going to be here, which means Carmelo's probably not. But to answer Bomani's question, a landing spot that makes sense. The Miami Heat make a lot of sense given they don't have a lot of pieces. They don't have a lot of all-star pieces. They might be willing to take him on in the discount bin because they need him to be their best player and get him in the shape the way they did with James Johnson and Deion Waiters.
You know, Phil Jackson, he woke up this morning and said, I got to catch a plane to New York from the island, to talk to this guy. It's wasting my time.
Gas up the private jet.
Yeah.
Is Major League Baseball being too soft on the Indians logo?
Anything that does anything other than eradicate the logo is probably too soft. But Rob Manfred, the commissioner of baseball, is saying that he is taking firmer steps than anyone's ever taken with this logo by saying, look, there are things that we're doing. We're working proactively with the team to see if we can minimize the impact of this logo. Mark Shapiro, the former general manager of the Indians, thought it was flatly racist and simply tried to move away from it in every way. But the moment he left, so too did that band. Then Cleveland gets to the playoffs and all of a sudden it's back again. They're doing something. It's just probably not enough.
Here's the thing, though. The only way to minimize the impact of the logo is to get rid of it because all these gradual steps are not minimizing. Minimize means take it to the least. The least is to get rid of it. But the reason they won't get rid of it, you see it in statements that are made, they want to make sure that they are sensitive to both sides of the issue, taking us to perhaps the greatest impediment when it comes to these sorts of issues, which is you're trying to find a solution that makes a certain segment of white people feel comfortable with it when the reality is this is a right or wrong issue. If those people are wrong, they just have to be mad. And guess what? Teams change logos all the time. They will get over it if you don't pander to them in this way.
How worried should the ACC be about its future in North Carolina?
Oh, boy, the state legislature making things hard for the money, right? We had the thing, the HB2, the bathroom bill, as it was called in North Carolina, that caused the NBA to move the All-Star game out, the NCAA to move tournament games out. They repealed that, even though they didn't change that much about it. Now there's a bill being put forth in the House that would say that state schools would be pulled out of any conference if that conference said it would boycott events or pull events out of North Carolina. There's no way in the world they're going to let some people in the state legislature mess this up. There's no way possible. One thing you always have to remember about state legislatures, they let damn near anybody into those things. Nobody's pulling North Carolina and North Carolina State out of the ACC just because these guys got a bright idea.
It is interesting, though, as a threat. If you don't like our rules, get out of our country. If you don't like our rules, get out of our conference. You've got a situation where the NCAA and the NBA were actually able to impact power and change by taking the money away and forcing this back into a bill still state where it is now, but now you've got the situation where you're threatening on top of that to hurt the conference that everybody cares about there. Not likely for those teams to leave. It is interesting, though, as an empty threat.
You know, it wouldn't be too bad for Coach K to get those teams out of the ACC. He'll win that every year. You know, I mean, I'm telling you.
Get rid
That's
of
a good deal
everybody
for
else.
him.
Yeah, get everybody.
The rest of the conference would probably prefer that states stick around. It's not really hurting anyone.
No, but Coach K'd be happy about it. Right, get out of here.
Coming up next on my son's TV show, Migos.
Which one among you is the greatest of the weed smokers? Who is the most powerful weed smoker among the three of you?
We don't smoke weed.
My son's TV show is brought to you by new Mobile One Annual Protection, proving protection for 1 full year. Joining us at the beach today is Migos.
Hey, their new album, Culture, is out now. Let's talk to them.
What would be a place where you guys would say has been the most awe-inspiring place to be together and be able to work together?
I say Lagos, Nigeria.
Africa, the motherland.
Africa.
That was big. Nigeria.
That was huge. The energy there was crazy. It was sold out. We didn't even drive to the show. We didn't even drive to the event. We walked to the event like a march. It was so many people outside, and they just felt the energy. And some people say, you know what I mean, they don't want us to, you know, they didn't want us to do that, but we did it, and the fans loved it.
Were you surprised? Did you know? What did you expect going into Nigeria?
I was surprised because when we was on the highways, you was seeing like it was like it's a third world country, so there's a lot of struggle in the city. You can see, and like to see it firsthand was amazing. And then for them to go to the show and know everything word for word, that mean they look up, they be looking, they pay attention to everything that's going on. They knew word for word, and their English wasn't even that good.
Takeoff, question for you. How do you guys settle lyrical disputes? If there's a disagreement, how does it get solved?
We might play rock, paper, scissors.
Rock,
We
paper,
might, you know.
scissors.
Yeah, rock, paper, scissors. It depends.
Oh.
How we The feel. old school OG.
The old school rock, paper, scissors, the best out of three.
Yeah.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, dab. Rock, paper, scissors, dab.
So you're just not going to argue. That's the easiest way to get out of arguing then.
Yeah, we don't really argue because, you know, we family. We don't really, you know what I'm saying, we don't try to argue. We don't try to go back and forth.
How many creative differences are there? How often do you guys disagree creatively?
We be on each other like, you know what I'm saying, because we perfect each other. It ain't like getting on you, but we be on each other though, like do that now, switch it up a little bit. You know, we don't take it no way because we brothers. You know, some people might be like, nah, I got it. I want you to tell me because your ear might be something I ain't hear.
We be on each other so hard though, like we just make sure that it's done right, because you know what I'm saying, like we make sure the outside world, we got to make sure we perfect, we straighten, you know what I'm saying, but in the inside is like Hell's Kitchen, you know what I'm saying, we stand hard on each other, make sure the factory going real smooth.
Did you guys have the same moment where you realized that you might be onto something special? Was there any kind of moment before success actually happened where you're like, oh, okay, we might have something here?
Going to the clubs in Atlanta every weekend, then from nobody to this whole club singing our song, this whole club, they coming just to see us. And we ain't even performing, we just got a section, we flashing the money in. That's when I was like, oh, okay, we doing something.
I started out just having fun. We didn't even know what we was doing, but we was creating this recipe of like just taking off. Like we was going in, taking care of the DJs, making sure they always played our songs, and we probably go in the club, 20, 30 people, buy like the section and buy bottles and just look good and just make sure our song get played 3 or 4 times out the night. And that thing, you know, people vibing to it every weekend. We came back and did the same thing.
Can you explain to us how hard it was to have your brother in jail for almost 300 days? Can you explain to us how much you missed him?
Hell yeah, I miss my boy a lot. We always talked. I always made sure he knew what was going on, and I made sure he stayed in tune to the wave and listened to new music that we was making. He always seemed to catch us in the studio every time he used to call in. So I used to make sure I play music. We play music, good new music. Let them know what's going on. Let them know what, you know what I'm saying, how much paper we getting, how much money we getting, how to step out. And here we
Stay
go.
in tune. He here now, you know. Bigger blessings. We up Big now. blessings, man. #1 records and #1 albums, you know. Going up that way.
How hard was that though, Offset, to be able to not to be a part of it, but to not be a part of it?
No, it was hard. But I still was proud though, cause it's like I still got a train going. Most people ain't got no support or don't have nobody that can still have something going on. With me being missing, it ain't stopped nothing. It kept stuff going on. I just had to respect that was going on. And then my brothers.
Quavo, it's known that you guys have thrown $10,000 around in the strip club. Have you ever had a situation like with Drake's father? Drake's father said he went to the club with Drake and he just took all the money and started putting it in his jacket. He said he looked like the Michelin Man when he was leaving because he wasn't throwing any of the money. He was just taking it and keeping it for himself. You ever had anything like that happen?
I seen a couple people pick up money, but not in my crew. I seen it in some clubs before, but I ain't tripping. If I'm throwing it, somebody gotta pick it up.
Here's the thing, man. If you throw up ones, it looks the same as when you throw up hundreds. Right? Does it just feel better to throw up the hundreds?
I ain't throwing on the
we ain't throwing
hundreds.
no hundreds.
I keep the big faces.
I mean, it's hard to make $10,000 in one night, man. That ain't easy to
$10,000
do.
in ones is hard to do. That's a lot of
$10,000
ones.
$10,000
in one. We call that a tsunami, a thunderstorm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's save money. That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to help people
That's a lot
stretch.
of money for a long time.
Which one among you is the greatest of the weed smokers? Who is the most powerful weed smoker among the three of you?
We don't smoke weed.
That's funny right there. That's the funniest thing you guys have said.
Get in there, get in there. Got me, that me. Young Rich Nation gear.
Looking like I'm not from around here. Young Dabby, not the atmosphere.
You still saying swag. Switch it up. We call it dab.
Step out with it like that, I call it a jab. Michael Jordan, I'm perfecting my crowd.
No money counter. Count it up with my hands. Young, I can show you how to do the math.
Sipping on drinking, I pour some money in my, not trying to remember my past.
Don't come to my hood if you ain't got a pass. Eat up the dab like linguine and crab.
Mr. McMahon, I find you in your style. Watching you, Dabby made me laugh.
Highly questionable is broadcast from the Clevelander Hotel on beautiful South Beach, Miami. Time to play the game that needs some antibiotics ASAP. Do you question?
You give us topics and events, and we question them.
Do you question if he should feel good about this outcome?
Who should feel good about this outcome? What should feel good about this outcome? Is it a person, an animal? What's happening?
It's all world star.
Oh! I mean,
No, he shouldn't feel good about the outcome.
that he didn't, that he wasn't still on the bike when it
Right.
flipped.
I mean, look, just because it could have been worse doesn't mean it's good.
Right. And that's probably a broken ankle, I'm guessing, that we're just laughing
To
at.
be fair, broken ankle, you don't hop on the good one. You just lay there till the ambulance comes.
Well, I hope he carries some insurance on that bike, because sometimes you try to save on insurance, and when something like that happens, you're holding the bag, you know?
My father, very wise with the life advice for the dumb motorcycle.
Well, it's fair to say somebody irresponsible enough to do that on the motorcycle might not be responsible enough to get full coverage.
Did you say it could have been worse? Because it could have been worse.
Father's got video of a motorcycle
Oh,
accident.
no, not with a
There
child.
you go. Yeah, with a child. Yeah. I mean,
The question, would it have been funnier or not as funny if there would have been a hole in the wall, you know, like right in the shape of the kid?
I love the idea of putting that kid on the bike and not telling him how the brakes work.
And by the way, the idea of being the parent who probably put that on the internet for us to see.
Do you question if this is elite?
Is this going to be Joe Flacco or something? Okay.
Oh, wow, I underestimated her.
Why'd you do that?
I don't know.
You sure?
She's short.
The question I have, though, is like, how many kids does that lady have? Because that's the kind of game that you develop taking kids year after year after year to Chucky's or whatever that place is. Like, look at the rotation. Put it back up here again. You got to look at the form. It's hitting the rim so soft every time.
You don't know that, though. She may just be lonely. She may not have kids at all. She may just go Chuck E. Cheese by herself.
Hey, I got news for you. You as an adult show up to Chuck E. Cheese too much by yourself, they call the cops.
Oh,
and they're kind of obligated to.
Well, she's pretty good, but this kid is much better.
What kid's much better?
You got to figure it out. I got to say, this little Hallie is going to be running counts on people for a very long time. He's definitely on the work smarter, not harder program.
I love the idea of him looking around to see if anyone's going to catch him. Did you see him looking around suspiciously?
Here comes Mom. Also, how'd he get in there? Like, I think the more entertaining video would be watching him navigate that structure.
Time to play the game that just finished buffering. See? Or no?
Tell us what's on TV tonight. We'll tell you if we're intrigued or not.
Tonight on ESPN, 30 for 30, won and not done.
This didn't seem very interesting to me, and I'm usually pretty interested in the 30 for 30s. What do we have here, though? Let's see a clip.
You're going to work harder than you've ever worked in your life.
Fight! I am gonna!
If you don't want that, don't come here.
1 second, and the title has returned to its old Kentucky home.
When you take UMass from nothing, go to Memphis, and all of a sudden they're annually in the top 5, you should be embraced as one of the great coaches in the game, and he wasn't.
There were a number of coaches who felt certain animus for Calipari.
We've got a coach that put 2 schools on probation, and he's still coaching.
People deify him. People think he is Satan on the sidelines.
Oh my God, John Calipari, oh my God, what's Kentucky doing? They're ruining college basketball. They're embracing this one and done.
You're going to hate me because I come to your town and we beat your team.
Or because you're hateable. Bomani, are you intrigued?
John Chaney walking in with, "I'll kill you," remains the single funniest death threat in the history of sports. I mean, name one death threat that's ever been funnier than that. He meant it, too.
Yeah, usually they're not funny. Poppy, are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. Well, listen, I watched that clip and I didn't see those suitcases full of cash that he gave to the players, you know? I mean, that's something that they left out.
Yeah, they did leave that out.
I would be interested to see those if they
so would I. Don't you want to see them?
If they existed.
Poppy, shouldn't you be apologizing to everybody
I
here?
have to apologize to Coach Cal, you know, and Kentucky, because I don't really know whether the money comes in suitcases or whether they come in a briefcase,
right. It might be
in a plastic bag,
Armored
or
truck,
or a duffel bag.
Right,
or,
we don't know. We don't know.
Get my facts straight
Okay,
before I make a
it's
remark
irresponsible.
like that, you know?
How about old school, one of them sacks with the dollar sign on it.
Tonight on Fox, kicking and screaming.
How many times do I have to tell you guys no on this before you stop running it? It's survivalist paired with regular people. Let's see.
Before we get to this delicious prize challenge.
Oh, now I'm
the comeback kids.
Yeah.
Scoutmaster Terry and online gamer Natalie. Both of you survived the elimination challenge with a stunning turnaround and came back to camp with power.
So we've decided.
Where's Brady going?
Gotta take a.
I might as well just say it like it is, right? Bad news don't get better with time.
I figured I'd just come out with the truth, get it over with.
Hannah suggested I go check on him.
Oh my God.
So I walked over and I saw Brady in the distance just taking a squat in the room. And I was like,
Claire, what's going on with your teammate?
take a little dump, I guess you would say.
There you go.
Brady comes back with half a sleeve. There's no question as to where the other half went.
Dude, that was bad.
Well, Bonnie, are you intrigued?
So we're just gonna let this Boy Scout uniform slide, right? Like, I mean, did he special order that? Does he run a troop? I have all the questions. Or is he secretly 13 years old?
Poppy, are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. Well, listen, that this shirt used to be a long sleeve shirt too, you know?
Okay,
now it's very short.
All
That's
right,
right.
good talking
Very
to you
short.
guys. See you later. See you tomorrow. That's a real jerk move, Dad. Real jerk move.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for watching.
Oh, Dan really left. Okay, gracias. See you mañana.
He was just making room for the food, really.
Ugh.